A while ago, I started planning a trip up through the state of Mississippi, my home state, taking the historic Natchez Trace Parkway up to Tupelo, the home of Elvis Presley, then cutting over to Clarksdale, looking for the soul of the Delta and the birthplace of the blues. Then heading down into the Delta, exploring the towns, the music, the legends, and the food that makes the Delta truly something special. Finally, I want to go beyond the stereotypes and find out what makes Mississippi such a truly great state.
My day began with beautiful, clear weather en route to Natchez. I set my GPS to no freeways and no interstates, and I took back roads all the way. What a beautiful ride. Welcome to Natchez, home of huge oak trees and mansions. Natchez and Under the Hill, one gentle and proper, and one has a history of the rowdiest port on the river. Just know that on Sunday nights, all the sidewalks roll up. St. Mary, Our Lady of Sorrows, the only basilica in the state of Mississippi, and the oldest Catholic church in Mississippi still in use today. I visited the African American Museum and paid my respects to the 209 African American souls lost at the Rhythm Club fire in 1940, one of the worst fires in U.S. history. It wouldn't be Natchez without beautiful antebellum historic homes. The perfect combination, pups and pubs, beer and dogs. Most of the restaurants and pubs had already closed. So I went back to the hotel and charged my battery, as I knew tomorrow was going to be a long day. And I enjoyed a beautiful sunset on the river. As the morning began in Natchez, I was greeted with a dead battery and a 4-mile walk to an auto parts store and back.
These mounds truly are incredible. You know, the people that built these mounds, they're from the Mississippian era of Native Americans, which date back from somewhere around 700 to about 1600. Their largest mound is in Cahokia, Illinois, which is right across the river from St. Louis. And this is the second largest mound in America.
The Old Country Store, gotta be the best fried chicken in the state of Mississippi. If you like that super crispy fried chicken, this is truly the best. Right here in Lorman, Mississippi, off the Natchez Trace, maybe about 2 miles. Yeah, right now we're in Rocky Springs, which is the home of this waterfall, one of the few waterfalls here in the state of Mississippi. Here in Rocky Springs, this is one of the smaller waterfalls, but still one of the nicest ones here in the state of Mississippi. Right here on the Natchez Trace near the Rocky Springs pull-off, you can come on down the ravine and check it out when you get a chance and you're coming by on the Natchez Trace. Here at Cypress Swamp. These little stops are such a treasure for the state of Mississippi and really as public lands for everybody that wants to come in and try to enjoy this stuff. Just fabulous.
At around 6 o'clock in the evening, I finally arrived in French Camp after a long day on the road. I took a quick tour around French Camp. I found a room, unloaded the motorcycle, and managed to find a couple of beers in the dry county. Until tomorrow.
Man, what a day yesterday. I came in after having some battery difficulties yesterday morning. It took me forever to get out of Natchez, but I got out of Natchez, made it to French Camp. Unfortunately, at 5 o'clock in the evening, this is such a small community, everything had closed. So I just stumbled upon this room for rent. It looks like it was set up for maybe 4 people, maybe bicyclists coming off the trace. Beautiful little quaint, clean, fresh place to stay. So if you ever make it to French Camp, you definitely want to come by and stay here. I'm sitting here at the Sip Coffee Shop and Smoothies here in French Camp,
having a hot cafe au lait and a beautiful fluffy blueberry muffin for breakfast. Definitely is a super eclectic little hole-in-the-wall coffee shop that is a must-see here in French Camp.
Mountaintop. This is in the Jeff Busby Park. Kind of reminiscent of what you would see up in the Smoky Mountains, but it's definitely one of the higher spots here in Mississippi and certainly one of the most scenic. So another one of the important things that you definitely don't want to miss on your trip up the Natchez Trace. Yeah, my mom was such a big Elvis fan, but I don't think she ever made it to the birthplace here in Tupelo. So I know this is definitely one of those places that would have been on her bucket list. It's great being able to see it and experience it here in Tupelo. He was such an instrumental part of Mississippi history, and anyway, just another one of the many gems here in the state of Mississippi.
Went to school with the guy's son that owns the place, and He said he wanted something with Robert Johnson, you know, at the crossroads. So we painted the devil and Robert Johnson. The story says he sold his soul to the devil, but back in the day, if you were playing blues music, you were considered playing the devil's music. So being associated with the devil and you playing blues wasn't hard to comprehend. And this is just my opinion, but if you were a poor musician, which most are, and you got your gigs off of being that guy, you might not argue with it, you know. You might just let it go and be that guy. I don't know. You know, you can't tell a story and not embellish it. You know, it gets exaggerated and da. But they say he came back. He was a terrible guitar player and came back into town, was playing like he was playing with an extra set of hands. So it was spooky to people. So I don't know the rumors. But I do a lot of Robert Johnson's. Even people that are not familiar with blues per se have heard that story. So.
You can't come down the Blues Trail without stopping at the Hollywood Cafe. Riding at sunset through the Delta was an awesome experience. I enjoyed a blues clinic in the commissary at the Shack Up Inn the same night that I stayed. I woke up early feeling refreshed. Day 4, I'm heading deep into the Delta to Greenville, Mississippi, making a few important stops along the way. Dockery Farms was a cotton plantation owned by Will Dockery and became the epicenter of the early blues, as Dockery had a reputation of treating workers fairly. Charlie Patton would live, work, and perform on the plantation for 3 decades, and his music influenced the likes of Robert Johnson, Muddy Waters, and B.B. King, among many others. Although the Crossroad may not be a historical location, it is the place we all will come to and define who we really are.
This is downtown Indianola. This town is not too far off 61, a little bit to the east, en route to Greenville. You got to come in on Main Street, come down and see the cypress trees. Just kind of a super little drive. Not too far off the beaten path, but certainly well worth your visit. Got to come to downtown Indianola. No stop in the Delta would be complete without a stop here in the B.B. King Museum. B.B. King was a great musician. He was a great ambassador for the state of Mississippi, and he was a great ambassador for America to the world. So this is the famous Doe's restaurant here in Greenville. Probably some of the best steaks, tamales, and french fries that you're going to ever encounter. Smells good. If you ever make it to Greenville, you definitely have to come by and have dinner here at Doe's. Great steaks, great tamales. Make sure to come on by Doe's Eat House here in Greenville, Mississippi. Greenville is the home of author Shelby Foote. He's an author and a historian, but he was best known for his commentary, documentary by Ken Burns for the Civil War. Just about sunrise. We got the sunrise coming up in front of the Hampton Inn here in Greenville.
As I headed home riding through the Delta at sunrise, I couldn't help but reflect upon this epic journey and the story of this trip. Although the scenery and the locations I visited were fantastic, I couldn't help but reflect upon the awesome people that I met along the way. First, there was Chris, the manager of AutoZone. When no other auto supply stores would help, Chris on his own personal time brought a jump pack down to the hotel and helped me get back on the road. Then there was Mr. Bo Kirby, who was the owner of French Camp Bed and Bunk. When I arrived in the French Camp well after 5 and all the hotels were closed, Mr. Bo rented me his place and also took me for a tour around French Camp and shared some delightful history of the area. Somewhere at a gas station between Alligator and Cleveland, Mississippi, there was Willie Frank. Willie befriended me outside the store while I was enjoying a Mountain Dew and some candy. Willie shared about his work and his life, and he offered to buy me lunch at the counter. I enjoyed the break and the good conversation. In Greenville at Doe's, I met two retired ladies that were picking up their catering. They asked about my motorcycle journey and made sure that I ordered the tamales and the fries to go with Doe's awesome steak. Finally, there was Mr. James Bennett. When my motorcycle went down on the side of the road in Yazoo City and there was no one to call, I was able to get in touch with Bennett's Motorcycle Repair, and he came out immediately, serviced it on the side of the highway, and made sure I got back on the road. None of these folks wanted anything in return for their kindness. They all came from different backgrounds. They're of different ages. They came from different locations around the state, but they all showed kindness to a stranger with nothing to gain in return. Although this journey through the state was epic, the true measure of this state is the great people who live here. This is truly what makes Mississippi great and what makes Mississippi my home.